First carry now for Trey Sermon. Give him 3 there on the first play of the game, and it's second down. This, the second meeting of these two teams. You might recall they met back in Week 5, and it was the visiting Niners who won that ball game, so they'll look to make it a clean sweep here at home in Santa Clara. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Now Lance. Taking a shot for Samuel. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 35.
That's a big gainer on that play, and from experience, I can tell you, that's where defensive backs will come into the huddle and say, guys, how about some pass rush? But you're going to say it nicely because those big guys up front, they don't like being criticized very much. Quarterbacks in this league, you know they'll pick you apart if you give them time like that to find receivers downfield.
Off of play action, here's Lance. This to the outside, it's Sermon. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
Sermon now on 1st and 10. And some space here. Touchdown, 49ers. Trey Sermon with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Niners have taken the early lead. Well, I tell you what, when you get a running back who can move like that in the open field, that's something to take advantage of, and they certainly did there.
And there's an old chestnut of an expression called getting on your horse. And I hate to use it, but I'm going to right here because it absolutely applies. How about the head of steam he had behind him? He was absolutely galloping downfield. That was something to see.
On the return, here comes Smith out of the end zone. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Here's Travis Homer, the former Miami Hurricane. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down. Remember, these two teams met earlier in the year in Santa Clara with the Niners coming out on top. So a win here in Santa Clara would give them the season series. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. They'll run this with Homer. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line.
That was good, tough running right up the middle. And if the defense can't penetrate and make him slow his pace or change direction, that's often the end result.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Play action. It's Wilson. Looking here for Smith downfield. And this one almost intercepted. Not a good throw there. Nearly an opening drive INT.
There is something to a game plan with trying to keep a defense honest. With a guy with that type of speed, you do so. Send him deep. Try and throw some air under it and hope you connect downfield. On that play, they were unsuccessful.
Here's 2nd and 10. This is Homer. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. Well, this defense, Charles, really played well in that win a week ago.
Well, we certainly had a nice conversation with the defensive coordinator, didn't we? And what we heard, I like what we did, but we definitely need more pressure on the quarterback this week.
And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
Plenty of things to talk about here, partner, but to me, their defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive. How about how they're responding, coming back? That's a big 3rd down pickup to keep their drive alive.
Going on the ground with Homer. It was Maurice Hurst who got him down. Well, you know, this club, there were some reports earlier in the week, and most have heard this by now, so-called unnamed sources that were saying all is not rosy in that locker room. There's whispers that 1 or 2 guys, CD, have kind of had enough of how things are going and have been going. How would you handle that as a coach?
Well, you and I both know all the coaches that we've dealt with and come in contact with. They'd love to get their hands on those unnamed sources, wouldn't they? But they know that that's not possible. So I think they've got to go in there and make sure that this isn't a distraction. They also know that once the grumbling starts, it becomes a slippery slope, and it's hard to stop the fall. But I think you need to sit some guys down and say, hey, look, we're still hoping to be a playoff team this year. We need you guys to be bought in with what we're doing. Come on, let's get on board.
A big play there on the catch and run.
A very early momentum changer there. Actually a dream killer for the defense because they forced a 3rd down. Felt like they had a good chance to get off the field defensively, and then they got hit with that big play.
So a big play as it gets them all the way down to the 20 now for 1st and 10. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice game like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. 1st and goal, and a chance to get that initial touchdown right back. Play action. Now Wilson. Under pressure, and he'll go down. They'll sack him on what ought to be the final play of this first quarter. Javon Kinlaw make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. So they get pushed back to the 11, and here's 2nd and goal. And Wilson going to keep it again. And they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. Call it no gain on the keeper, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. Well, for that being an option play, there really weren't too many options available for him, were there?
No, there weren't, and at least he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage, so they didn't lose anything, but you're exactly right. Nowhere to go.
On 3rd and goal, Wilson eluding the pressure right. This will be caught just inside the 10. They wind up with 6 on the hook up there, but it's not enough. 4th and goal. And CD, we have seen some great runs the last few times we've been together, but I think we can at least put this one in our top 5. That was a determined gallop there. Myers' kick is good. So a long drive gets him down inside the 5, but ultimately they settle for just the field goal.
And I have to think that if maybe they were a yard closer, that would have made their decision tougher, and I think they likely would have gone for it. But in this situation, they just decided to take the 3, and I think it was a smart move.
And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And they were winners the last time they took the field, which was 2 weeks ago. They had the open week last week, so this is a squad that should be really refreshed and ready to roll.
I would agree, because when you get that open week after a victory, it does wonders for everyone. Obviously, your body, get a chance to heal up, but your mind as well. You feel good about winning, so now you can get away from it for a few days, put down the playbook, turn off the film, Just be you. Enjoy that time away, and then you come back ready to go.
And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
Throwing his Lance on 3rd down. Man open, that's Deebo Samuel. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds.
I don't care how many times we see it, I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
They find some open field here. Past the 20. Touchdown, 49ers. Trey Sermon, his 2nd touchdown of the game and his 9th on the year. And the 49ers add on to their lead. So there, Charles, I mean, a situation where it didn't matter how far he had to run, he was not going to be denied, and he winds up taking this all the way to the end zone.
And that's a 2nd touchdown run of this game, and this one, add a high degree of difficulty to it as well. I'm absolutely marveling at how effortless he makes this look. I mean, let's face it, he had a long way to go. But how about the vision, the creativity with the football in his hands? It's really something to watch.
On the return, here comes Smith out of the end zone. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. They trail now 14-3, an 11-point deficit as they start things out with a 1st and 10. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
And he'll give it here to his running back. Pushes him over. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. 49 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now a handoff here to his running back. He'll get a nice chunk there on the 1st down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Well, I think after that run, the defense get back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
And to give this time to the tailback. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on 3rd down. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the 1st down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
They'll run it here with Pirine. And he won't be close to a 1st down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. Here's Pirine. And he's got the 1st down yardage as he brings this up to the 47. In lieu of the sneak on 4th and inches, they just say, give it to the big man in the backfield.
Yeah, fullback no less. Not many of those left in the NFL, but for those that have one, perfect time to use them, perfect time to get it done.
Now they'll throw it with Wilson. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
They've given up a few 1st downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now it's Wilson. He'll find Eskridge here complete. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers 40.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
From the 38, Wilson. And he fires one incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
They'll need to get it to the 30 for a first. This is third down. From the shotgun, Wilson. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 19. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line.
Offensively, when you see cover two, the thought has to go through the quarterback's head. Drive the football when making throws. It's not just the deep guys covering. It's the guys underneath you have to be careful of. Drive your throw. Otherwise, you see what results? Interceptions.
On 1st and 10, here's Lance. The first catch of the game for George Kittle. And he's going to be out of bounds right at midfield. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. From midfield, here's Lance. Escaping the pressure right. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Well, we always talk about how you've got to be quick when you go through your progressions, and here's another prime example. Trying to look downfield, he was standing in the pocket, but just couldn't find anyone open, could he?
No, not enough time. They hit him and forced that incompletion. To throw on 2nd and 10, Lance. Man open, that's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme, and you can drop.
And time finally runs out. He can't get rid of the football, and he's taken down. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. On 2nd down, it's Sermon. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. This from 54 yards away. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. So we've hit halftime here in Santa Clara with the 49ers out in front. As we'll send you back over to Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report, here's Jonathan Coachman. All right, Coach, thank you very much as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Seahawks trailing, but they will have possession first here as we resume action in the third quarter. On the return, here comes Smith out of the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And right out of the gate, they face what you think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, They've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
And they'll run on the inside handoff. He'll have a first down past the 40. And he'll take this down to the 40-yard line. 95 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here. So the big play moves him all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. Off the play fake. Here's Wilson. Oh, he tries to get it to Metcalf, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Diamador Lenore. And the Niners are going to take over at their own 30-yard line. The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. And their defense just helped them out by getting the football back on the opening drive here in the second half. And now can the offense follow through with points on their first possession?
And that's a big one for them because after the work the defense has done, they've got a chance here to open up this lead.
Again, it's Sermon. Sermon with space, a first down, and then some. The 30. 10. 5. Touchdown. 49ers. Trey Sermon, 64 yards. And the Niners are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point right down the middle. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. And McGinnis with the kickoff honors following the touchdown. On the return, here comes Smith out of the end zone. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result, and he opted for the touchback. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. They go backwards there 2 yards, and 2nd and 1 is now 3rd and 3. Wilson. Airing it out deep for Smith. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Now here's Michael Dixon. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. Just a yard return there after a punt of 49. And the Niners will go on offense. 1st and 10. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. They're continuing to rock and roll, and at intermission, you know, maybe sometimes you fear after such a good first half of a letdown, but that wasn't the case.
And what I remember most about being in those situations is exactly what you're talking about. You almost have that sense of satisfaction. You're like, we're doing really well. I remember one time someone saying, winning's fun, but so is playing really well. Why would we want to do otherwise? That was the message, to keep the intensity up, to keep things going. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from this team.
Yeah, it's helped them extend their lead. And they'll try and run for the first with Sermon. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a first down. 193 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Lance, a give now to Sermon. And he's going to have a Niners first down. His good running gets him to about the 44.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
To the right side, this is Sermon. And he'll push his way up to about the 44 here. There to make the tackle, Samson Abukum.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. Was that 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. Call it a gain of 5 that time, and they'll be left with a 3rd and about 4. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Niners on 3rd down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. This is 3rd and 4. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge. And that's good enough for a 1st down. Maybe a critical mistake at this juncture is now they've got a 1st and 10. Now a handoff. Sermon. And just a couple yards there down to the 17.
He's had success on this drive, but not on this play.
Finally, they bowed up defensively. I think they were